getting back to the market today, yes, gold moved up nicely, but the coins and shares lag behind, and generally speaking. And it's the government putting money, big pressure on the gold stocks and silver stocks in the market. And they've been doing it for the last week. And the reason they do that is because if people look and see the gold goes up $10 and the stock doesn't go up, or a bunch of quality gold and silver shares don't go up, oh, there must be something wrong. Gold must be going to come down. And that's why they're doing it. These people are criminals. And they're going to do anything they can to confuse people. And don't get confused. Those of you who own gold and silver, related assets, you hold on. You be patient. We're going to outlast them. And second of all, you've got to be a buyer in here. There's no top on this thing now. No top. I mean, even if gold went from 100 to 1,000 to 3,000, that's a tremendous gain. Tremendous, even in bullion coins. And of course, numismatics and shares do better because of the inherent leverage in them. But this is not too expensive. It is still cheap. You've got to get that into your heads. I cover this in depth in the gold section for yesterday. And I had a short piece on the market this morning, early. But I cover this. As you all know, India bought 200 tons of gold out of 400 that the IMF wanted to sell. That helped gold break through. But gold would have broken through anyway. I mean, it was going to happen whether India did that or not. But I'm going to tell you something for you people who are not subscribing. And that is, and this is very important, the gold that supposedly was sold wasn't sold. The IMF has not had any gold since 1947. And they have had it in the hands of depositories. And India was one of the depositories. Now, what I suspect has happened is that the Treasury, over the last 10 years, has sold off that gold. And all they're doing is covering a short position. It's a bogus trade. There was no exchange of gold. That's what I think the bottom line is. I gave two versions in the gold section for yesterday. The official version, and then what I think is the real version. And you got to remember, too, that these countries, most of them don't have any gold. They've sold it all. You know, the U.S. said, look, you get gold there, you're going to sell it. If you don't, we'll destroy you. I mean, that's really what they do with these countries, small, medium-sized countries. You know, who wants the heat? So what they do is they succumb and they sell. But what's even more important here is that the IMF has allowed the countries' central banks to hold gold on their balance sheets that they have actually lent to bullion dealers to suppress gold prices, and those bullion dealers have sold the gold and have paid them back with dollars, but they're still holding the gold on the books as being there, and it's not there. That's why central banks are buying gold. I don't think India bought any gold. Maybe they did. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think so. And they're settling the books up is what they're doing. When you say they want to sell 400 tons, that means they have already sold 400 tons. So it's a short covering operation. That's what I believe it is. But by the very fact that they had to announce that that supposedly was being done, they rammed gold up. And they tried to get gold down today. Gold didn't have an easy day. It was up $8 early on, about 4 o'clock this morning. And it got down to like a plus 380 or something like that, and then moved back up again. They weren't able to take it down. The problem is they don't have any physical. And what they're doing is only using paper, derivatives, futures. And at the same time, we have a record commercial short position. And what we're into right now is a commercial failure. Now, who owns the short position? Guess. Your government. All the losses are going to be taken. Who caused the losses? The government did. Who's going to pay for it? You are. I mean, people don't think the problem all the way out. It's like a chess game. So now you understand better the situation of the central banks. They don't have any gold. France does. I don't know whether Italy does or not. They lease so much. And there's a few countries here and there with gold, like Russia and China, and Argentina has gold, Brazil, Venezuela. But by and large, nobody's got any. It's in private hands. And so...
Well, Bob, let me ask you a question. I mean, supposedly they only sold half to India. Now they have the other 200 that they're looking to sell. My point is, if they were going to do it, they would have already done it, and China would have been in there buying it up.
That's right.
So...
You see, they used India because it was a depository.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes back, that was written up by the American Free Enterprise Institute, I think it was in New Hampshire, in 1947. I forget what that was called in the details, but they put out publication for years and years, and they still do. There's different people doing it now. But the point is that it was a scam. And I found it interesting today. I just flashed into my mind the Copenhagen meeting, and Merkel was in Washington, addressing the House, Congress, whatever. And Merkel is the president or chancellor of Germany. And she was very disappointed that global warming is not going to be voted on for 5 weeks. Well, 5 weeks is just before Christmas. Nothing's going to get done. And I don't think they want to tackle it. They're in such terrible political shape, the Democrats. I'm waiting for them to say, well, we're going to put cap and trade off until next March. Or we're going to put medical reform off until next April. They're in deep trouble. It's just not Democrats. It's all of Congress. The Republicans as well. So it is a dog's breakfast. And they're going to have another stimulus plan. And that stimulus plan, I think, from Congress will be between 400 and 800 billion, and the remainder, another 400 to 800 billion, will come from increased loans from banks. And that probably will aggregate somewhere between 800 and 1.6 trillion. And that'll last them another year. So they're probably cool a year from June, which would be June of 2011, unless they put another stimulus plan in. I mean, they could do that ad infinitum. Last week, the Treasury, did $182 billion in bills, notes, and bonds. Next week, they got another auction coming. I couldn't believe it. I forget what the number is. It's in this issue. I put it in this morning. Wednesday's a hard day here because we're trying to get the issue out, and some of the things I see, I can't remember. I got to go back and read them again. This issue